So this is certainly the calm before the storm, because this does not even encapsulate everything that we have at our disposal. I wanted to make a video talking about the Montreal Canadiens, talking about some of the updates regarding the Canadiens, as well as some of the trade talk that you can very well link to this team. But I digress, because the content we talk about in this video might not be enough. We might have to make more videos about the Montreal Canadiens because there will be more things said. It's kind of crazy, silly, wacky season mode after all, heading into what is potentially going to be the final game of the 24-25 NHL year. Who knows what happens in game number 6 today, but let's backtrack a little bit here and not talk about Florida and Edmonton. Let's talk about some of the Montreal Canadiens notes that we have seen from social media the past few days, some things from throughout the weekend that I wasn't able to talk about because I was out and about and on a trip. Don't worry though, all the new stuff that gets posted about and discussed, we will definitely be in on that. But I wanted to head over to some commentary made about the Montreal Canadiens from David Pagnotta and the fourth period. Let's go out there and read this tweet. He says that the Montreal Canadiens and Calgary Flames are both trying to address their second-line center position. And look, this tweet has 200,000 views. It's got 63 replies, and the majority of the replies are like, I'll pretend to be shocked. Water is wet. No crap, David. Like, this is not surprising to anybody who has been paying attention to either the Canadiens or the Flames. Hey, guess what? They want a second-line center upgrade. Whoop-de-doo, water is wet. Huh. Is water really wet? Or is water the necessary tool that allows an external entity to be wet? Okay, all philosophical semantics aside, let's talk about some of the other things that have been discussed here in regards to the Montreal Canadiens. David Pagnotta also said this yesterday on Leafs Morning Take, that Ottawa, Montreal, and Calgary will poke around on Mitch Marner. But it's not expected that Marner signs with a Canadian team. And yes, that is indeed the case here. We have already discussed how Mitch Marner is probably more likely to head over to a team like Vegas, a team with lower state tax, and thus the ability to let him walk away with more take-home pay. Not to mention the Mark Stone and Alex Pietrangelo shenanigans that can potentially allow that team to go over the salary cap one more time. It's never a surprise when these things happen with the Vegas Golden Knights. But ultimately, Marner heading over to Vegas, heading over to some Western team, heading over to some team in America makes a lot more sense than him sticking around in Canada, especially when it comes to the Ottawa Senators of all teams. Yes, while it's true that the Sens would like to shake things up, they would probably like to get their feet into territory that nobody ever thought was possible, there is no way Marner would sign in Ottawa. Right? Calgary, okay, maybe there's a little bit of distance there from Toronto, so maybe that makes sense. For Montreal, that would be cool. That would be really, really awesome, but, like, I do not think that is going to come to fruition. I'm kind of thinking about it like this. Think about the kind of scrutiny that Marner has been given from the Toronto fans. Would it not be reasonable to think that that kind of thing would be even worse in Montreal, assuming he continues to underperform in the playoffs when things are very tight and when they need him the most? We all recognize that there's a lot of value that Marner brings, and thus there is so much expectation as well. It's just unfortunate that Mitch Marner is not the kind of guy to be able to live up to that and actually fulfill it. But anyways, him being linked to Montreal, Ottawa, Calgary, not surprised. There's going to be a whole bunch of teams reporting that their guys are going to be in on Marner. It's inevitable here. But if I had to take a pick here and bet, I'm not a betting man, but if you had to twist my arm and force me, I'd probably say he's going to Vegas. That's just the more rational conclusion in my mind. Anyways, let's talk about some other things in regards to the Montreal Canadiens and trade ideas that are now set in stone. This was talked about as well by Frank Saravalli on the DFO Rundown Show. The Chicago Blackhawks' third overall pick is in play. They're looking to trade for a difference maker. this bleeds in nicely to the other conversation that we had seen in regards to the Utah Hockey Club. Okay, no, Mammoth. I gotta keep on getting that into my head here. Mammoth, the Mammoth. They have the 4th overall pick. And so now when you fully acknowledge that Chicago's 3rd is in play, Nashville and their whatever it is that they've got, 7th? No, 5th. Nashville's 5th could be in play. Utah's 4th is also talked about here too. It really gets the conversation going. Could any one of these teams bite on Montreal's 16th and 17th plus some other things? I saw some people tossing out some hypothetical trade ideas like, hey, the Chicago Blackhawks should grab Kirby Dach. They should take Dach and the 16th and 17th overall pick for 3rd overall. How does that sound for Montreal? And obviously that's like, yeah, okay, that's amazing. Use the extra money to sign somebody in free agency and then grab the 3rd overall pick and get Michael Misa or James Higgins or whomever is available out of the two. But yeah, 3rd overall for Kirby Dach, that'd be ridiculous, wouldn't it? Which is why it makes so much sense to dream about it. But if you're looking for my reasonable take, not putting on the fantasy cap and dreaming about a world where the Canadiens send away Dach for the 3rd overall pick again, honestly, I feel like Utah and Chicago are in quite the similar spot that Montreal is in. Young teams that want to get better quickly and that don't necessarily need veteran talent to be able to do that. They just want to keep on building through the draft. They want to build with the foundation they have. Chicago, of course, has Bedard and Levshunov and Nazar and Oliver Moore and all these other young D-men, and they have some other transitory guys that have been rotating in and out of the organization. They had their vets with the Martinezes and the Tyler Bertuzzis, etc., but they do still have some value out of guys like Ilya Mikheyev and Toivo Teravainen. Meanwhile, Utah, they've got some pretty good guys that happen to be young. Barrett Hayton has been great. Clayton Keller, you can't go wrong with him. Nick Schmaltz is a little bit older, but he is still fine. And then you have some of the other up-and-coming names in their organization as well. Iginla is going to be a boss after all. So unless these teams were to trade away their draft picks for some young help, if you wanted to sell Kirby Dach on these teams, then okay, be my guest. It's just, I don't really know if any team is going to bite, especially if they're watching Montreal and being like, yeah, no, that guy's not healthy enough. He can't play in the role that Montreal's giving him. Why would we take a chance on him? Unless a team just really does believe that Dach still can be that guy, I don't see him being moved in any sort of meaningful trade with 16 and 17 for a high draft pick. Maybe if Nashville was really interested in getting a younger dude and going down that direction, okay, maybe so. But like, still, if they're going to go down the direction of a rebuild, why would they trade 5th overall away? We'd already spoken about the idea yesterday on JIC's ridiculous trade idea, Nashville sending 5th overall and Jonathan Marchessault to Montreal for 16, 17, and whatever. And it's like, yeah, you would make your team worse, and you would lose out on the top draft pick. Is Jonathan Marchessault's contract really that bad? I don't know, man. It's kind of tough to fully get into the minds of NHL teams and try to predict the future in this respect, but ultimately, I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about these Montreal Canadiens news and updates. How Mitch Marner, apparently somebody of interest for Montreal. We have Calgary, Ottawa also getting involved in the Marner conversation too. Calgary and Montreal are upgrading at their center position, not surprising there. And there are some rumors about the 3rd, 4th, and 5th overall picks potentially being in play. Chicago and 3rd, Utah and 4th, and then Nashville at 5th overall too. We've been talking all this talk about these top draft picks, and I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video, and bye.